So, are you ready for the holidays with the toxic person? Many of you might be stepping into the holiday season and you're wondering, is he going to come back? How is he going to interact with you? What's going to happen? Oftentimes, when we talk about dealing with a narcissist and dealing with the toxicity that happens in the holiday season, like a lot of times you're going to see the narcissist come back into your life. Now, this typically isn't something that you want, and it's not something that you're like, hey, this would be great if he came back in. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with a toxic person, a lot of times this happens. So, when we talk about dealing with a narcissist at the holidays, are you actually prepared? Like, are you actually ready to deal with them? He's going to try to hoover you. He's going to try to control you. He's going to try to do all these different things that are going to happen in your life. And so I need you to understand, if you're not prepared for the hoover that's going to happen, for the toxic person coming back into your life, you need to be. How many of you have actually gotten hoovered before? Okay. When we talk about hoover, it means this person is sucking you back into a toxic relationship. That's what it breaks down to be. Now, hoover is when someone like steps back into your life and pulls you back into toxicity that you're like, I don't really want to be here. Like, this is not a healthy spot for me. But a narcissist will do this over and over and over, convincing you that you can't do any better than him, convincing you that you need to be there in the relationship, when in reality, like, you don't. Narcissist wants to make sure that you stay stuck on him. If you're just joining, I want to talk to you about some of the aspects about narcissistic abuse going into the holidays. So feel free to leave any questions. I'll get back to you as soon as I see them, because I want you to understand, moving into the holidays, sometimes it's this idea of like, well, it's not going to be that bad. Like, we'll just make it work. We'll figure it out. When in reality, he's prepping and he's planning of, how do I actually interact? How do I get back with? How do I trigger this person? How do I connect with this person? Because if he does it, he knows you're not going to say no. The holidays are a great time of empathy and cheer and love, and the narcissist oftentimes is going to be relying on it. Okay. Why, after a year, I cannot make new relationships? I compare her beauty with new people. As far as like, she left you, and you're like, okay, probably the piece of that, you haven't healed from it. Like, you haven't actually worked through the process of like releasing that. The one who the narcissist is usually calling the other person narcissist. Not sure where you're going with that. But I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say with that. Okay. My ex is trying to replace me with a new supply in the son's life. How do I cope? If you're separated and like the son is over there, like, there's not really a ton that you can do. Like, you have to be able to interact with your son in a healthy way to help him. But a lot of times, like, what he does in his own turf, you can't really control that. My husband yells nonstop if he doesn't get his way. How do I de-escalate? Hard thing is, when you're in a toxic relationship, you can't always de-escalate it. Like, he's not going to just calm down because he doesn't want to be proved that he's wrong. He doesn't want to be shown that he actually has a problem. Okay. So, like, a lot of this different aspect is, when you're with a narcissist, he's going to continue to ramp up the abuse, because if he gets louder and louder, you're not going to actually stand up for yourself, or you're not going to do anything about it, or you're just going to stay longer and longer. Okay. So, like, you need to be able to understand, narcissists will do a lot of different things to trigger you. Why does he continue to hoover with, even with a protective order? Because he doesn't care about the protective order. He still thinks that he owns you, still wants you in his life. So he's going to keep you there. Okay. Why did he abandon his new baby but sees his daughter all the time? Could be just different tools of how to get to that person, that trigger, that supply. Narcissist is typically using the kids to get to another person. Narcissist doesn't care about you, doesn't care about the kids. He's typically using them, leveraging them to be able to get back to other people. Okay. He doesn't want me to buy Christmas gifts for the kids, but he thinks he deserves a Porsche. Yeah, that's the entitlement piece of like, make sure they pay and they don't get anything, but I want what I want. Okay. A lot of times narcissists are very focused on themselves. Okay. You're going to see this, like, walking into Christmas, like, you're going to see him be like, hey, I don't want any gifts. And then he'll get mad at you when you don't give him any gifts. Or you'll see like, hey, like, he'll give you something and it won't be that amazing, and he expects you to give him something that's absolutely amazing, out of this world. Like, the entitlement that comes when you get around the holidays gets incredibly hard to be able to deal with and put up with. My husband has left 3 times. He's 63 years old and keeps running back home to his parents. He left September 6th, blocked me, and told the counselor that he wants a divorce. No divorce has come. Yeah, because he's probably not going to do it, because he's not man enough to actually file for divorce. So if you want to be free from this, you're going to have to take the steps. Okay. How can I exit from this person's life? Please tell. We provide a lot of resources to start exiting, because First off, we have to work on you mentally and emotionally. Like, otherwise, if you believe that you're in a good relationship or you believe that it's not that bad, you'll continue to stay. You'll continue to be inside that relationship for a long period of time. If you haven't checked out, inside the link in the bio, there's escapetoxicity.com. Like, that's a great resource. 7-day challenge for you to start understanding about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, reactive abuse, how to start moving forward in your healing. My in-laws get to me by making my kids hurry over food gift, something over food gift, etc. So pathetic. Yeah, a lot of times they're going to use the kids to trigger you. So the question is, how do you actually stop being triggered? Okay. Now, the end result is like, you're never going to get to the place where there are no triggers in your life, but you can get to the place where you stop having those triggers actually set you off or spiral you out of control or have it lash back out onto other people or just compress inside. Like, you've got to a place where someone is talking or attacking you mentally and emotionally, and you're triggered. And like, that trigger puts you in a space of like a scarcity, puts you in the space of being scared, puts you of being afraid of what's going on. But ultimately, it starts telling you a different story than what's actually based in reality. Like, when you get triggered, something activates, and it's typically a story, an idea, a thought, a lie about the situation that keeps you in the fog. So until we actually break you out of the fog, a lot of times you'll still go back. That has to come back down to like the facts, the truth of the situation. Never comes to Thanksgiving dinner, tells everyone we leave him lonely. So you're going to see this. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, I didn't get invited, even after you invited him, but he has to look like the victim. A lot of times the narcissist will try to look like the victim so that other people feel bad for him. And so other people are like, oh, let me help you out this way. You'll see this a lot of times with covert narcissism. They want to look like the victim. They want to look like the person that's been abused, that's been hurt, that's all forlorn, that's upset, that's depressed, when in reality, they're the ones that are actually causing it and trying to look that way. You used to break up with me and ignore me for my birthday gift every year. Yeah, so you can see that going into the holiday season. You could have him break up with you or try to leave around that time so he doesn't have to give you a gift. A lot of times he might not even have a gift. And he's like, well, I was going to give you a gift, but because of your attitude, because of how you treated me, because you caught me cheating on you, I'm not going to give you a gift anymore. Now, you're going to see different things get leveraged. What's up, SJ? Good to see you. I told my narcissistic mom he was a drinker and abuser, and her reply is, but everyone loves him. Oh, gosh. Yeah, so, like, she's enabling and doesn't really, like, care at that point. Like when you actually see it and know this person's been abusive, like, it should provide a different response of, like, let's get out of this. If you do not react, will he stay in the relationship? Oftentimes he will, because you're still putting up with the shit that he's doing and not getting free. Like, that's the big difference. After 36 years of marriage, mine lied to my child. No, she is in his side. She said she has no idea that he's constantly lying to her, and I have never lied to her. A lot of times you will have the narcissist lie to the kids to try to get them on his side so that he can do what he wants, so he can appear like the good person, because he wants to try to prop up his fragile ego and not actually face the music of, like, this is how you're lying.